Our listeners have heard me talk about Inesa's hemp for several weeks now, and it's my pleasure to welcome Inesa, the founder of Nesa's Hemp, to the truth. Inesa Ponomariovaite. How did I do?
You did great.
Oh, good. We're off to a good start. She has such an interesting story to tell. I really wanted to invite her onto the truth and to share her story with our audience. She grew up in Lithuania and decided that she wanted to come to America for a better life. So she walked across the southern border of Mexico and made her way to New York. Wrong. No, she did it the correct way. Anessa, welcome to the truth.
Thank you so much for having me here today. And in fact, this interview is currently getting recorded or online at this very moment from actually Lithuania.
That is, it's like you're next door, actually. So thank you for calling us while you're on holiday. I understand that you're there for a family reunion, and I want to hear more about that. But let's start with the beginning. How old were you when you came to the United States, and what prompted you to want to relocate here?
So America, even right now, when I like scroll on the streets here in Lithuania and small little towns, when you tell people you're from United States, everybody's like, "Oh, it's a dreamland. Oh, it's the best country." Like people have their like this big dream, the big bubble opinion, how things are so great here, which is it's very much truth. But I was just like everybody else. Like there's this dreamland. You don't know exactly what that looks like, what it feels like. So when I lived in Lithuania almost 20 years ago, I actually wanted to visit United States and I chose this as one of my destinations as like a vacation trip. And when I got to America, I actually met, it was a love story. I met someone, and that person ended up convincing me through the love story that I should stay in United States and should create a family because he was very much in love with me. So, and because of that relationship and because of that love story, I ended up staying in United States. The love story did not end up being a love story actually from the moment I lost my status, because when you come to America after 3 months, visitor status, you automatically, if you don't leave the country, you automatically lose your status and you become illegal. So that's what happened to me. And I had to basically get married, or I believe the other option was invest millions of dollars in order to get your green card and American citizen, but just was not an option in my finance situation. So I ended up being, and I actually, the way I got my status, it was a lots of blood and tears, a lots of hard work, a lots of proving myself that I'm worthy to stay in our country. And when I say our country, I'm representing United States.
Connect those dots for us. What did you do to achieve citizenship, right? Or was it just a green card at the time?
I mean, first of all, you always start with the green card, but in order to do that, you have to really prove that you don't have any bad intentions, that you're gonna pay your taxes, that you came here and you didn't plan to, stay legal. Like, I mean, it's almost like a thought process, right? How are you going to prove United States government, the immigration services, that's not the case, that you're really here for the good intentions? So you have to really work yourself. You have to get your job. You have to, prove that you're worthy to be in this country. And more than regular Americans that go to and live 9 to 5, and it's a lot of work. It's not just like, you come in and somebody hands you this green card, unless you, I don't know, like I know there's the stories where people cross American in America through Mexican border, and I'm like, that's not the right thing to do. Like it's wrong, because I had to really go through 7 to 8 year process, to prove that I was in domestic violence, that I'm worthy to stay in this country, that I'm going to pay my taxes, that I love America, and I had to do my oath ceremony. I had to learn everything about the country, plus pay the taxes. So first they gave me social security and to see if I'm going to pay the taxes. Nobody gave me a green
Hmm.
card immediately. So, first day when I remember when my attorney called me, he said, "You got a social security tax ID, you can pay taxes now." just for me to get that number was the best day in my life. I literally
You celebrated it
I hugged every person on the street. I did.
so you could pay your taxes.
I was so
What a great
happy.
story. We should all look at paying taxes in that prism. So now, so you where did you go when you came to the United States initially?
I always stayed in Chicago. So Chicago was the
So why Chicago?
I did not know any better or worse. It was just one of those larger cities you choose to and there was actually one of the reasons I'm sorry, that was one of the reasons because there's a lot of Lithuanians in Chicago, and the
Oh,
largest Lithuanian community is besides Lithuania itself, which is where I'm right now, it's in Chicago. So it's
I'll
like
be
I
darned.
was excited to meet like Lithuanians in America, and and I was just that was my starting destination.
And so that's where you met the scoundrel that victimized you.
Then that's where I met the yes. I
Did
can't.
you marry him?
Yes, we got married, and funny enough, he did not want to wear me a white dress on my wedding day, so I had to wear the black one.
What?
Yes, I
Well, there was a clue, Inessa.
I know, but I was.
That's kind of sketchy, I think.
You tell me this now. I'm experienced at the
Black
moment.
wedding dress? You're kidding. What was the matter with him?
It really doesn't matter at the moment because
Yeah.
it was his own life, his own stories. I forgave him. I truly wish him nothing but the best from bottom of my heart. This person came in my life end of the day for a reason, because I see it. It wasn't for that story, I would never be in America and making such a beautiful stories. I help so many people around the world, in United States, of course. I have a big mission. I found myself in the country. America is the country I love the most. I'm right now in Lithuania and I'm dreaming to come back home. And it's just, yeah, America is was worth it to go through everything what I had to go through.
Well, I'm sorry that you had that experience. Um, do you want to get into the unseemliness of the whole thing? Because I understand it was more than just
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't really hide. In fact, one day I'm planning to really write a book or even a documentary, because I've been offered multiple times now. I just don't think it's the right timing, but I can share a little bit bits and pieces. When I started my separation process through very harsh moments in my life, I was actually exposed to the big world of America. So the good guys and the bad guys, right? So
Hmm.
so when I came from this small little country that not much really changed since last 20 years ago, to be honest with you, I was raised like never lie, never steal, never cheat. If you do those things, I'm gonna cut your fingers, I'm gonna cut your tongue, I'm gonna. So I was very raised in very strict values. Make sure and I just thought everybody around me was the same. So, with that being said, when I left that relationship, I can't really call it marriage at this point, but it was marriage. But
For how long? How long were you
we spent 4 years
actually?
together. But after 1 year being together, there was another woman who knocked at the door and told me she was married with the man I was living
Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. And had you experienced problems in the marriage up until that time, or was that just a complete shock out of the left
with.
field?
We were not married at that time, but I was very shocked because I had no idea and nobody told me, and he gave me all kinds of excuses why. But long story short is like I mean, no, I wasn't aware he was in a different legal marriage at that time.
I'm so sorry.
So
That had to have been a bad day.
it was a lot of bad days in the first 5 7 years in United.
But you were married to him at that time. Is
No,
that is
I
that right?
was not, but we were living together and preparing to get married. So
And you still married the bum?
I mean, I just Jesus forgive 77 times. So I mean, I was, to be honest with you, John, I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely naive. If that would happen to me today, I would not even talk to the person ever in my life. But
Yeah.
because I was so naive, I was this little tiny butterfly that never seen a lie, that's never been exposed to the big world, is just very different when people manipulating you. I thought I'm living with an honest person. So I truly believed in everything the person said until eventually I did not. And the same thing would happen to me afterwards when I really start living on my own, separated. There was a lot of all kinds of stuff involved, order protections and you name it. Like I start looking for jobs. I start, looking how I'm gonna live in this country, what I'm gonna do. Can I have some kind of type of friendships? Because I was not allowed to have friends during that relationship, so I had to create friendships. I had to figure out what I'm going to do. And of course, I had to support myself. At the same time, I had to pay all these attorney bills, that I was going through the process and immigration and all kinds of other cases. So I personally faced a lot of actually dark people. And these dark people were not lazy to take advantage of me. And I was naive. So they took advantage of my naiveness.
Well, and you were young and you were in a foreign country and you had led, I presume, a sheltered life up until that point. So I fully understand and feel bad for you that you had to go through that. But then you got caught up with some other bad people, or they tracked you down. I don't know.
Yes, human trafficking, it's very much real, and I know for firsthand. I was targeted by human traffickers myself, and that happened multiple times. So one time almost successfully, and second time I was actually, no, the third time where I started reporting everything to the police, but police wasn't really helping me. And I've been to different suburbs. I thought maybe these people gonna report, and I realized it's not gonna work because nobody cares, because I'm still physically here. And that's where I actually realized America has another problem where, let's say, if I reported pure evidence that somebody is about to kidnapped on a camera in a grocery store, and at the same time I have the person's license plate, I have the person's video, I have their face, I have him literally tracing me down an entire grocery store all the way to my car, and I had the evidence, and that was not enough for our law enforcement, because they said you're still here, like there's no crime that happened. And because there's no crime that happened, they could not arrest or do something about it. And in order to do something about it, they probably had to hire like private investigators or something like that. And of course, I didn't have money like this. So long story short is like, not always the law enforcements were helpful. In one situation, yes, they were helpful because a lot happened there, but at the same time, in the other situations, they're not. So I almost start feeling it like, what if these people part of these people agendas, or somehow they're related?
So you said that it happened 3 times or 4 times.
Over 4 or 5 years, yes. Mhm.
So were those independent overtures or were they related?
I don't think I think two groups, two times were related into one, and the second time, or the second group, was just completely different. I don't think.
So what does it look like? I mean, how did you know that you were being drawn into a web of human traffickers?
I mean, I was traced almost into my car. And of course, the Holy Spirit was with me. So that's why I'm not just a believer in God. I'm fearing God, not to my job is to know God's word, because I owe him so much for my life. He saved me in all those situations. So
But what happened? How did they approach you? How did they try and
the one was
lure
simply in a
you
grocery
in?
store. The person was literally, while I was even on my phone, I was looking in the lower aisle and reading some ingredients, as always, as a health professional, especially right now. I was reading like ingredients. I was literally on my knees and I checked my phone. So later on, when I checked the cameras, this person was literally behind my back, also reading my phone at the same time, and I had no idea. This person was
Well,
chasing me the entire time in the grocery store for about 20-25 minutes. And then, of course, he tried to get me into the car, and I had to run away as fast as I can. And I had to go back to grocery store. I told the managers what happened, and eventually the owners released and showed me the video. I mean, it took me like a week or so to get to the video. And when I got the video, I was trying to share that to law enforcement, and they did not care to do anything about it. The second time they came to my
Did they
home,
watch the video? Did they even watch
they
the
did not
video?
want to watch the video because they said there's no reason to, because nothing happened. You are
Yeah, but you've got somebody effectively stalking you,
they said
trying to kidnap you,
there's
but
no proof.
nothing happened.
Even the
It's
video. They said, oh, what if the person is crazy? They said there's no proof. And that's where I realized that one day I want to be so strong and powerful where it can help to change even laws like that in our system, because this is not okay. Like, I was one of those people. I made so many reports and nothing happened after these police reports.
wow. So when did you start Nessa's Hemp?
When I finally settled in United States and I start like living what I call American dream. And when I say American dream, like I finally got my green card, I got my, was working on my citizenship. I was very, very happy and I had a great job and I was looking to build another job career wise. And I had a great apartment. I was already looking to bring my sister in the United States. So I actually, pay her school so I could get her into college. So I felt like, whoa, my life is like finally perfect. Like everything settled in. It took me so many years to get to this point. I learned the basics, how to function in our country. And and then I looked at my life and I said, this is not it. Like I don't like it. Like I just don't feel my heart is fulfilled. Like is that's what God wants me to do? Just live like this for the rest of my life and just be better. So I prayed for the whole year to ask God what's my purpose in life. And actually, about, I mean, 11, 12 months later, I got a call from my mother. She was here in Lithuania, where I am right now. And she said that I have cancer, I have, max, 6 months to live. Can you come back home and visit me? I want to spend some time. And I said, Mom, I said, God just answered my prayers. I said, you're not going to die. You're going to be cancer free. I don't know how, but I'm going to help you. And God just answered my prayers because this is it. Like, you're going to be healed. And because of you, there's going to be lots of people healed. And I saw this beautiful vision, and this vision has been definitely the most life changing vision I ever received. That's what I said. God is the most beautiful thing ever happened to me. And since then, I went on a deep dive journey on cancer research. And of course, I discovered endocannabinoid system. And when I discovered endocannabinoid system, I realized it's the most beautiful God's given system in the human body that nobody talks about. Laws are passing by, and our actual communities don't even understand what that is. I understood what happens when you empower endocannabinoid system. I understood how it's critical for people to take a good quality products like cannabinoids, and they're essential to us. And I just was looking to purchase a good product, and I just couldn't find a good product on the market.
So what year was this?
That was 2018 or 18 or no 19 probably. Yeah.
Okay, so 7, 8 years ago, and you stumbled on this while you were looking for ways to help your mom, who had cancer. And so, what was it about endocannabinoids that help cure cancer, arrest cancer? What does it do to cancer?
Um, Endocannabinoids do help empower so many systems in the human body that helps to fight cancer. So first of all, I just want to be loud and clear that we're not making any claims because we're not curing or treating any disease. But I just want to say, endocannabinoid system, I really want every single one of you who is listening right now, just go and Google what endocannabinoid system, just put ECS system, ECS system is responsible and what is doing for the human body. If you empower that system, basically helps you to empower everything else in the body. It's like a master switch. And can it help with cancer? I personally seen where people said my cancer shrank because of this product, but can I say that really happened? No, because I personally did not see the patient or client or customer. I just got a call from customer service, and they told the customer service that they need more bottles because it's been shrinking their cancer, oral cancer that was in their mouth. So, and with that being said, the stories is not just cancer. Endocannabinoid system is responsible for way more. It's the pain management, inflammation, brain disorders, gut issues. We have one of our producers right now using our product, and he told me that because he's tracking his health with one of those aura rings. And he said, Inesa, do you understand my body right now on the aura is telling me that the restoration process, it's much longer and much better and much deeper than before. He has deeper sleep right now after 2-3 days of using the product. Normally, you don't feel those things in a human body like easily, like unless there's a data tracking little device. So, John, I can't say there's unlimited potential what the product or cannabinoids can do. But the problem is everybody's thinking the cannabis is the only this high THC. And that's where I'm having a problem right now with our legislators and our government, because they're passing these laws that are so brutal to the future of endocannabinoid system and education and the public health, because all these laws are currently getting passed is not in a favor for people like your listeners to know endocannabinoid system.
All right. So we're saying endocannabinoid. So is cannab a derivative of cannabis? Is that where the word comes from?
Yeah, so it's a one plant, and on this entire planet Earth for thousands of years, we always had one plant. It's the hemp plant, the low THC where you don't get high, nobody gets high. But what they did, they took this one plant and engineered another version of the plant, which is in the laboratories, genetically engineered, which is cannabis. And cannabis is where everybody's talking about people getting high.
Right.
The actually alcohol industry, liquor industry right now is lobbying the most for this specific THC, this engineered plant, the THC part. So they're trying to regulate right now. In fact, Target just got their licenses for the cannabis. So you see, the hemp plant was always here for thousands of years. Does not make you high, doesn't do anything but incredible health benefits from the head to toes. There's no limit for how much it can do. But they took this plant, and instead talking about this plant, no, they engineered another version of the plant right here, and this version of this plant is the one that's getting regulated, which is completely fake version, high THC, liquor industry is taking over. This is the one that's getting regulated currently right now in on the federal government level. There's not much health benefits. In fact, it's gonna there's a lot of side effects to the point where, in my opinion, it's dangerous if you consume it too often. So
Mm.
this plant, where Nesa's hemp is currently, that is so essential for humans to take, it's so essential for humans to take, is not being regulated, it's not being talked. And in fact, the way the new laws are passing right now, this November 12th, is gonna look very sad for us, because they basically saying that certain cannabinoids no longer, which is THC, it can be only zero point 0.4 per unit. So which is very low amount per unit. That means you can't grow these plants like the original version plants. The basically government saying you can have a baby, but you cannot get pregnant. This is how bad it is.
Hmm.
So the law looks pretty good on piece of paper, because they still saying, yes, you can have these plants, you can have these products, no problem. But you cannot grow these plants. I talk to my farmers. Every single farmer right now is liquidating, closing their businesses. Oregon, I mean, California is having issues. Chicago, Illinois, Michigan is the same. Everybody's moving in the high THC category.
Into moving into the high THC category or out of it?
Into.
Into, really. So, but that doesn't carry the medicinal effects that hemp does, correct?
No.
Or
That's the one.
maybe it does, but that's not the primary purpose somebody's going to take it.
No, that's not the one. In fact, there's too much research saying these high-level THC products are not okay for us to consume. And this plant came on this earth to educate and finally bring the truth. And right now, I was so excited that President Trump posted on his True Social about endocannabinoid system, because that was the first acknowledgement ever that he said there is such a thing and is the most important thing in a human body. The doctors don't even know how to pronounce it. But your whole health and longevity and everything depends on that thing, which is endocannabinoid system. But you see, we're not doing anything to regulate this plant, which is hemp plant, to empower this endocannabinoid system. But President Trump posted on his True Social, no, everybody's pushing this high THC that's going to make our kids high, brain dead. They're going to be in the car accidents. And liquor industry is lobbying the most money, including Target just purchases license for that.
All right. So when you talk about endocannabinoids, is that one and the same as hemp, or do you use those interchangeably?
No, cannabinoids, the ones we have, they are not the same as in the high THC plants, such as cannabis. No, they're not, because
Well, I'm not talking about with THC. I'm talking about without THC. Or are you saying that cannabinoids inherently have THC? I'm a little confused.
THC alone is another high, it's the cannabinoid, but it's the hybrid, the one is on the market. So been sold and promoted the most. But it is part of, so cannabinoids could be CBD, CBDA, CBGA, CBNA, THC. All those are in a cannabinoid group. So, but
what you sell is hemp. Is that a cannabinoid?
That is all cannabinoids. They don't make
without the THC.
Without the THC, yeah. Yes, correct.
Right. And what do most people use it for?
John, I just fell in love with my product one more time after 100 times. I told you I came in a family reunion here. And
right.
This woman, one could not make it to family because she simply can't walk. She has major nerve damage. And she said she works like a duck. That was cute when she said that. And she's my uncle's wife who passed away a long time ago. Older lady, 75, 80 years old. She could not make it to the family. So what I did after the whole event, I decided to go to her and visit her, bring her food and do whatever it takes to kind of nurture her. So I truly see she can't walk. Like, it took her 4 minutes to open the door. I thought she's not even home. So I felt really bad for her. I said, "Are you been doing something?" She's like, "Yeah, I've been going visiting doctors. I've been for 8 weeks nonstop. I've been for 4 years in pain." I said, "What is your pain level?" She's like, 8. For how long have you been 8? She's like, "I've been 4 years in level pain 8 and I can't do anything."
What a shame.
And I said, "Really?" I said, "I have a feeling you're low on endocannabinoids." And I said, "Why don't we just really," she had the puffy legs, swollen ankles, the whole legs are full of tingling. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I have this whole bottle. I'm just going to really load you up right now." I said, "Please lift your shirt." And she did. I started applying everything on her lower back. I started rubbing 2-3 dropperfuls on her each leg. And I gave her 2 drops only orally for her because I did not know how her body is going to react. So I wanted to kind of start slow orally. Within 5 minutes, I can see she's like loosed up. And I said, "What is your pain level?" She's like, "Actually 5. I said, "Really?" She's like,
"After what period of time of using the 5 minutes?
Yes, 5 minutes.
Wow.
She said she is in 5. And I said, "Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
I can't believe it." And then I waited another another 5-10 minutes. And she's like, I think it's 4 or 3 right now. I texted her daughter today. That was Sunday. That was 3-4 days ago. I texted her daughter today. I said, can you please tell me how's her pain? She said, Inesa, her lower back pain is still not back. The leg pain came back yesterday, and her pain in the legs been 3. John, I just gave her 1 dose. She is
That's phenomenal.
severely low and deficient on endocannabinoids. Because they're also responsible to manage pain. So when you see what is going to be good for, I really, really don't know, because this does so much for your body. As I said, if you go and Google endocannabinoids, you will see it yourself. And I'm going to show you. She was so happy and smiling when I left. She was happy,
Oh, wow.
smiling. Yeah.
She doesn't look like she's got pain at a level
No,
8.
she was all happy. She's like, my pain is gone. It's like, I can finally walk not like a duckling anymore.
Well, what a great testament to your product. So where do people find it if they want to buy it? Where should they go?
It's very easy. nesashemp.com and Nesas, Nesas, nesashemp.com.
All right. Very good. Well, I use it, and I'm not sure that I've gotten the results that your aunt did, but I haven't had any negative side effects, and I'm still optimistic that it will help control inflammation and swelling in my body, something that anybody at my age that's a male in America has to worry about, not worry about, but be conscious of at least. So I'm hoping that maybe in my case it's preventative, but I'm sticking with it until I change my mind or run out, in which case I'll probably order some more. But thank you, Nesa. I really appreciate you coming on The Truth today.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Well, I've got a whole lot more to talk to you about. Can you come back another time?
Yes, absolutely. Would be happy to.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, you be safe in Lithuania. Safe travels back to Chicago. And we look forward to speaking to you again upon your return.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.